hello, welcome or welcome back. I'm Heather, or Miss Postwaite if you're one of my students, and we're going to talk about banned books today. I'm doing the hashtag 24BB, so I'm trying to read 24 books in 2024, and I have number 7 this month. I read Damsel by Elana K Arnold. I'm not going to say I love the book. I was entertained by the book. It was different. I understand where the pushback is. And so this is one of those very strange cases where I think that the book had a problem in its marketing. I really feel like this was marketed at the wrong age level. I don't think this is YA. I really feel like this probably should have been adult, or even there's a new category that is trying to take off called new adult. And so for those readers who really enjoyed YA but are ready to step it up a little bit and maybe have a content that appeals to somebody who is no longer in their teens, it's called new adult. That is where this novel probably should have hit. So when people come for it, when people want to remove it from the shelves, when people attack it, it's because there's content in there that would be appropriate, maybe at a higher level. I'm not for banning any books. I'm not for us taking anything off the shelves, but I think this one does suffer from a marketing miscalculation. I just don't think it was YA. There's a couple of reasons for that. Damsel basically is a fairy tale, but it's feminist. It highlights the misogyny that we are accustomed to, but don't always recognize when we're reading our fairy tales. There's always a man who runs in and saves the princess, and the day is saved, and it has to do with the patriarchy, it has to do with the monarchy, it has to do with the Middle Ages. It's just this traditional belief system that we've come to accept in our fairy tales. Fairy tales are dark. Like, honestly, think about Hansel and Gretel. These kids are sent out of their house on their own, forage in the forest, end up being found by a witch who wants to eat them. That's dark. That's dark. And those are our fairy tales. Those are the things we're like handing kids. Okay, so with that being said, we have this story that follows Amma. She is the damsel, and we have basically this tradition in this culture, in this kingdom, that the prince goes, fights a dragon, and rescues the damsel from the dragon, and the damsel becomes his wife. And then they get married, and the whole thing plays out generation after generation after generation. So that is how it has always been in this kingdom. So the way the story is told is kind of fascinating. It's very repetitive. It's very storytelling. It's very sing-songy in a way. And so you don't really dive into the characters as much as you ride the wave of the story. It's weird. Once Amma comes into the story and she's rescued, the prince spends the whole time telling her, I rescued you. I saved you. I'm your savior. We are meant for each other. This is the fate we're supposed to have. She doesn't have any memories. She literally does not know, remember, or think for herself in any way, shape, or form. So everything that is going on is kind of her learning it for the first time. So as they're traveling, he gives her name. As they're traveling, he tells her how to eat, how to dress, how to wash, what to do. And she's just learning everything with no memories, like a very strong amnesia to her whole entire past. There are several content warnings in this one. So let me just backtrack a little. Damsel was written in 2018 or published in 2018. In 2019, it was honored with the Michael L. Prince Award. So it has a silver sticker on it with the big P on it. This is an award from the American Library Association. It honors books written for teens on their own literary merit. Here are some of the problems with it. It has a lot of demeaning of the women, misogyny, really calling out the ugly parts of fairy tales, basically the middle-aged treatment of anyone who isn't the monarchy. So anyone who is female, anyone who is working class, anyone, like, nobody under the prince or the king matters, I guess, is kind of the moral of the story. Some of the problems with it, there is a lot of brutalization that Amma goes through. There's definitely some SA. There is this just expectation of submission on all levels. And I am not going to spoil this book, but I am going to say, once you get to the ending of the book, the ending of this book is on a whole nother level. It's not something I would give a teenager personally. Me, Heather, is not going to give this to a teenager. I personally set it at a 16 plus. I have a 16-year-old. I could give that to them. They might understand some of it. I mean, they would probably understand a lot of it. The problem is, at 16, you haven't experienced a whole heck of a lot. And you certainly haven't necessarily seen the feminist perspective of what this is really stating. I feel like this just would fit more in like a college literature class. But the ending, yeah. I read several reviews. I read several like reasoning behind some of the pieces and parts that people had problems with. I agreed with a lot of them, not everything. I would understand if this isn't a high school, but I would not go any lower at all. I don't think anyone younger, like middle school, they're not going to understand this book, for one. I really feel like this is new adult and not young YA, and it just is in the wrong category. And if we shifted it, no one's going to have any problems with it. Here's the irony of this, like in several of the reviews that I read, this particular book is being pulled off shelves. Moms for Liberty kind of got there. I guess they got it on their crosshairs. But it's kind of well known that a lot of the banning and problem books that are being targeted all over the country are coming from one particular group that has sent out like this blanket statement so that you could go in and basically copy and paste what they've said about these books and then get them pulled from the shelves in yours, in your state. It's working a lot in Florida, in Texas, and in Tennessee right now. That being said, the people that are pulling this book off the shelves haven't read it. And there's kind of the proofs in the pudding, because the things that they are targeting and saying, oh, this says this on page blah, 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 and this says this on page blah, blah, blah. Honey, the things that really would be disturbing, the things that really would be highlighted, the things that, as a parent handing a book to my child, that I would want to know about, is not like a word that you looked up and, oh my gosh, it's on page 119. No, you have to read for the context. There are things that are happening that are disturbing. They're painful. Yeah, those things are the ones that would, as a parent, be the thing that I'd be like, hey, honey, if you read this book, I'd really like to talk to you when you're done with it. I would really like to break down, that piece. Hey, come see me. Let's talk about this one when you're done, because I really want to see your thoughts and help you through this. You can't just look up one word and see if it shows up in everybody's book and then target those books. You're missing big pieces of the whole thing. Anyway, Damsel. I think I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't what I expected. I heard so many good things about this book, and it's not my cup of tea. I love fairy tales. I love twisted fairy tales. I love retellings of fairy tales. I love the idea of what this was trying to do, but there were some pieces in it that aren't my cup of tea. That does not mean this book should be banned. It means I'm not reading it. Yeah. So, I guess in some cases I kind of recommend or don't recommend the books. Personally, I didn't care for this one as much. It still got 3 stars. It's a decent read. The ending, I hated. The ending I loved. The understanding of the book at the end, I hated. I don't know how to explain that. But tell you what, if you've read this book, can we talk? I would love to talk to someone who's read this book. That would be great. How about we chat in the comments below? If you've read this book, I got thoughts. I got questions. All right. Anyway, so that's number 7. Obviously, I have 6 other books that I have read thus far, and I've got a couple more coming your way shortly. So yeah, let's keep reading banned books. I'm gonna have to kick some butt here to get to 24. I'm still in the single digits. Yeah. So if you want to see a banned book I did enjoy, how about this one here? Anyway, have a great night. See ya on the flip side.